In a world where words can wound as deeply as physical blows, the philosophy of Stoicism provides us with a formidable shield against the impact of hurtful language. Here are 7 Stoic principles according to Epictetus that we can use so that nothing can truly affect our inner peace and tranquility. 1. Focus on what you can control. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is that we should focus only on what we can control in life. Much of how others treat you or speak to you is outside of your control. However, you have much greater control over your own reactions to these external events. Although emotional control can be extremely difficult in certain situations, by redirecting your energy toward your thoughts and reactions, you begin to gain a degree of control over your responses to challenges over time. When confronted with hurtful words, first pause and remind yourself that it is not the words themselves, but rather your reaction to them, that cause the most damage to your well-being. 2. Reframe insults and criticisms as opportunities. When you feel triggered by someone else's words, pause and evaluate the intention behind those words. Do they aim to improve you, or do they aim to harm you? It is important to do this while being aware that the intention is often completely different from the effect of the words. For example, criticisms intended to be constructive can sound harsh when spoken bluntly or at an inopportune moment, but are really a valuable chance for growth and exploration when interpreted correctly. On the other hand, baseless insults can be dismissed as mere noise, a much better response than dwelling on them and letting them eat away at your sanity. Indeed, you can even consider insults as opportunities to practice emotional resilience and skills. Rather than internalizing them or ignoring them, you can view them as a chance to practice patience, empathy, and self-assuredness. Over time, you can learn to grow stronger from these insults rather than absorb the negativity from them. 3. Negative visualization and gratitude. The Stoic practice of negative visualization can help you cultivate gratitude for your inner strength. By imagining scenarios where you are confronted with insults or criticisms, as well as how you would confidently and wisely respond, you can build mental resilience and presence of mind so that when such situations actually do arise, you are well prepared to take the best course of action. It is also important to foster gratitude within yourself by reflecting on the positives in your life that we might take for granted, instead of dwelling on the often temporary negative elements that are directly in front of you. For example, instead of being consumed by a person's negative words, try to see if this person brings any value into your life. Is it possible to be grateful for this value, but at the same time deal skillfully with their negativity? As you do this, observe how your instinct to engage in or avoid conflict might be preventing you from taking the best course of action to resolve the problem wisely. Having both gratitude and the courage to deal with negativity allows you to distance yourself from the vicious ring of hurtful words, while still being able to find effective ways through practical obstacles in life. With practice, you become better able to anchor yourself more in present state awareness, which also makes it more difficult for hurtful words and actions to wound you. 4. Seek balanced responses. Stoicism calls for moderation in many aspects of life, and an important one is in your reactions to negativity. It is tempting to respond to negativity with impulsivity, which often results in more negativity before you even realize it. Instead of responding impulsively, try a more measured response and observe how it works. Give yourself a few seconds to reflect on the situation before retaliating or making your next move. The simple act of delaying your reaction gives your rational mind a chance to kick in so that you have a much better chance of assessing the situation holistically and seeing the situation from the vantage point of emotional equilibrium. You may not be able to respond maturely every time, but by pausing before responding, you tip the pendulum in favor of finding a more reasonable, balanced response. 5. Cultivate virtue in the face of emotional challenge. When faced with hurtful words, instead of giving in to the temptation to retaliate, remind yourself that you are capable of wise and virtuous responses even in the face of challenges. You are capable of patience, self-control, and kindness, even when you feel triggered or put off by someone else's words or actions. By doing this consistently, you gradually realize that your sphere of control is larger than you might at first think, allowing you to disarm potential conflicts and act rationally instead of rashly. 6. Engage in self-reflection and foster self-compassion. Stoicism underscores the value of self-reflection as a tool for nurturing emotional resilience. Dedicate regular moments to examining your emotional landscape, including your responses to hurtful words. Extend self-compassion by recognizing that being affected by insults is a typical, instinctive human reaction. Acknowledge that cultivating heightened awareness of your responses to challenging situations requires time and dedication. With consistent practice, this endeavor yields a deeper comprehension of your thought patterns, amplifying your access to innate emotional awareness and intelligence. This newfound awareness empowers you to recalibrate your thought processes and cultivate adaptability and flexibility in your emotional reactions. When confronted with triggers or overwhelming negative emotions, pause deliberately and engage in introspection. Delve into the cause of the feelings and try to understand them more deeply. Instead of succumbing to the stream of thoughts linked to the negative emotion, try to anchor your conscious experience in the present moment while openly acknowledging your feelings. 7. Find a greater perspective. Try to foster in yourself a greater perspective that allows you to see through the insignificance of a single social interaction or temporary life situation. One Stoic tradition that allows you to do this is to put yourself into situations that are slightly uncomfortable, unfamiliar, or challenging, while practicing the principles mentioned above. If you find yourself feeling negative emotions as a result, for example anger, fear, or embarrassment, try to step back from their immediate sting and ask yourself, is this something that is worth getting angry about? Is this a situation I really should fear or feel embarrassed about? Does this person's words genuinely concern me, or is my pride getting in the way? By integrating these questions into your internal dialogue, or at the very least cultivating a willingness to do so, you will embark on a journey toward heightened resilience and tranquility. This practice not only transforms your capacity to respond with composure and wisdom, but also reduces the likelihood of reflexive reactions that often cause harm, both for others and for yourself. You'll notice that gradually over time, insults and hurtful words don't sting as much as they used to. It's not that you become numb to them, but rather, you develop greater self-awareness and knowledge, and an ability to navigate your own individual emotional makeup skillfully and strategically, while handling challenging social situations in a calm and controlled manner. By being rooted in a greater sense of self-control and self-knowledge, you naturally become more immune to the destabilizing effects of external influences. You learn to engage with what is actually being said by another person, taking on board any constructive elements and disregarding the noise, while seeing clearly the intentions behind their words. Ultimately, Stoicism tells us that in this journey toward resilience and clarity, we are the ones in the driver's seat. It is not the words of others, but our interpretations of and responses to them that determine their effect on us.